Hey, it's your girl Leia, aka Chef Slay the Playa, and today we are making fried green tomatoes. We are going to learn the chemistry behind ripe versus unripe fruits and vegetables, mainly the tomato, and we're gonna see, well, you don't really want to eat an unripe banana, but why would we want to eat an unripe tomato and make fried green tomatoes? Because the tomatoes that we're using today are just the unripe version of the red tomato that you see in the store. So let's get to it. What up, y'all? We're just gonna get into it. Today we are making fried catfish and fried green tomatoes, two very southern staples. So these are our ingredients. We're gonna have our oil, our bag of catfish, salt and pepper, lemon, fish fry. You can make it yourself or whatever, but I just buy the bag because it's easier. Green tomatoes, which are unripe red tomatoes. As you can see, they've got a little bit of red, but we're not gonna tell if you're not gonna tell, okay? So we got panko, regular schmegular mustard, Grey Poupon, which is Dijon mustard. We got cayenne, smoked paprika, garlic mayo, what is this called? Hot sauce. And last but not least, Worcestershire. Worcestershire? I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're using it. And those are our ingredients. All right, so we're going to slice our tomatoes about the width of a small pinky. We're going to dose some pepper and salt all around it. And this is gonna draw out a lot of the moisture from the tomatoes. So we're gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes. And while we're waiting, we're going to batter our fish. So we have our fish and we've patted it dry. We don't want wet fish. We're gonna take our mustard, just a little, not too much. Squeeze it on. I'm gonna take one. Rub the mustard on both sides, just a very light coating. You're not gonna taste the mustard when you fry it. It's just to allow for the fry mix to stick more. All right, next we're gonna plop it on down into here, both sides. Make sure you get every little crevice. Okay. Shake it off and repeat. So I've added a little bit of Cajun seasoning, blackened seasoning, and Old Bay. The seasoning already has a little bit of that in it, so it's already good, but I want my fish to taste extra good, so I'm gonna add a little extra, okay? So we've been letting our tomatoes rest. Now we're going to blot them somewhat dry. It's okay if the salt and pepper comes off, ain't no thing. We're gonna add more later, okay? So we're gonna take some of that liquid off. All right, now we're gonna take our tomato, first into the flour. Y'all, I forgot to tell you that you need flour. You need flour for this. All right, so both sides, coat it nice. Get them edges. Now, we are going to drop this into our egg milk mixture, which I also forgot to tell you guys that you needed. That's okay. But we're going to make sure that it's well coated. All right. And now into our fish fry again. So our fish fry has cornmeal in it, and we want that nice crunchy texture for our fried green tomatoes as well. So that's what we're using. All right. Get them edges, and you're done. We'll be talking about green tomatoes. Are they good for you or not? Can you truly enjoy something that's not fully ripe yet? The simplest answer is yes, you can eat it and it's good for you. Most people don't think twice about eating ripe fruits or vegetables, but eating a green, unripe banana doesn't sound all that appetizing. There are a few varieties of green tomatoes. The ones that we're making today are the unripe red versions that you can get in the store, but there's also green zebra tomatoes, which are green all year round. They don't ever turn red, but you can use either of them to make fried green tomatoes. So, a little background on the ripening process. Most plants start off green because an abundance of chlorophyll in the beginning stages where the plant is made up of mostly starch. When ethylene gas is released, the starch reacts with this gas and others such as carbon dioxide and oxygen to become sugar, making the fruit more delicious and tasty. Green tomatoes are not as sweet as red tomatoes and usually have a sour or tangy flavor due to the lack of ethylene gas. Tomato plants are a member of the nightshade family, along with peppers, potatoes, and eggplant. And all nightshade plants contain levels of alkaloid toxin called solanine in the plant's roots, stems, leaves, and fruit. Solanine is the natural defense the plant has to protect itself from animals consuming and destroying it. Solanine is a bitter tasting glycoalkaloid that can be poisonous even in small concentrations. Green tomatoes contain the highest concentration of the alkaloid solanine called tomatine. Up to 500 milligrams per kilogram of fruit weight can be found in immature green tomatoes. The green tomato that's used for cooking is in the early stages of ripening and contains lesser amounts of solanine than harder, immature green tomatoes. Additionally, frying the tomatoes in hot oil diminishes the solanine content, rendering the tomatoes less toxic. Reaction to solanine poison can be as quickly as 30 minutes after consuming green tomatoes. Gastrointestinal disorders, including diarrhea, stomach cramps, things like that can occur. Children and people with tomato allergies or sensitivities are the most affected by the solanine in green tomatoes. So you'll want to pick an unripe tomato when it's full size or nearly full size. As tomatoes grow larger, they go from feeling rock hard to firm while still green, and then they become a little softer as they begin to ripen and change color. And many prefer green tomatoes for frying when they're full size, firm but not hard, and some prefer them even with just a slight bit of the ripe color. So here we go. We've got our battered green tomatoes. We're going to place them into the deep fryer. That is a-okay if you don't have a deep fryer. Definitely just put some oil in a pot and you're Gucci to go. But since I have one, I'm gonna use it. You don't want to overcrowd the pan too much, so we're gonna do 7. Drop them in, and they're gonna float to the bottom, and eventually they're going to start floating to the top about 6 minutes in, and they'll be done. So while our tomatoes are cooking, we're going to make our sauce, our dipping sauce. So it's mainly a mayo base. A good spliggity splurt of mayo, y'all, okay? Hot sauce. A tad bit of Worcestershire, okay? We're gonna do Dijon mustard. Not too much, just a tad bit. All right, cayenne. If you like it hot, add a lot. If not, just a little. Smoked paprika. Get the smoked kind, y'all. I promise, it's worth it. A little bit of pepper. We're gonna take our garlic that we've chopped up. About 2 cloves. I like it really garlicky, so I added a lot. And our secret weapon, ranch. The ranch is not necessary, but I like my my stuff creamy. We're just gonna mix that on up. All right, so right before it's done, we're going to squeeze a little bit of lemon, about half a lemon's juice. Okay, don't let the seeds get in there. Mix it on up. Taste for seasoning. See what you like, see what you don't like, and you're done. Next up, we've got our catfish. So we're gonna shake off any excess here. Plop it right down. And you really don't want to crowd the pan with these, so maybe just 1 or 2 at a time. Maybe 3 if you're feeling lucky. I think I'm feeling lucky. I'm gonna do 3. All right, down they go for 5 to 8 minutes. All right, folks, this is the final product.
It's the final countdown.
Here it is, just for you. So we got our fried green tomatoes right over here, our lovely fried catfish with our dipping sauce that actually goes well with the tomatoes and the fish. We got a little lemon zest just for you, and Louisiana, of course. So tell me if you like this recipe. Tell me what you think, and drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.